Now, Akpabio gave each senator $30,000 during the budget process. You know the budget. Oh yes, for senior senators like those who head the powerful committees. Akpabio gave them up to $1 million. Some said $2 million to some of them. Akpabio told the senators that the dollars came from the presidency. He informed them that the presidency wanted the budget approved without serious review.
We are going forth and back on these issues and coming up with issues of the budget and individual issues concerning what came to our various constituencies. So if we want to go into those issues, all of us are culpable. Some senators here, so-called senior senators, got 500 million each.
Hello, you're welcome once again to Joel Research Blog. Today we'll be discussing the politics of budget padding in Nigeria. In recent days, we've seen issues emanating from the National Assembly, and it's all about the budget of the 2024 budget. A lot of people will ask, it talks about budget padding, the budget of 28 trillion, 25 trillion. What is really happening in Nigeria's National Assembly, specifically the Senate? You see, before we do that, please do not forget to subscribe to Joel Research Blog. You can follow us subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow us on Twitter, on Facebook, TikTok, and Instagram. Now, what is budget padding? Budget padding is a persistent corruption, act of illicit enrichment by limited funds, or resources that undermines policy changes for socio-economic development. Now, in simple terms, it simply means adding extra of what was submitted by the executive to the National Assembly. And over the years, there have been a lot of arguments about why do the Senate, why do the Nigerian legislature, why do they pad the budget? The argument has always been, for constitutional development, constituency development, rural development, and all of that. But over the years, we found out that it goes beyond just developing the constituency. We'll discuss that as we progress in this analysis. Now, the issues that we see from the National Assembly today did not just start today. Since the inception of the Fourth Republic in 1999, we've seen issues where members of the National Assembly having issues or having fracas or having arguments about the budget between members of the appropriation committees with either the Speaker or the Senate President. One that Nigerians will not forget in a hurry was the issue between Honorable Jibrin versus Dogara. Jibrin at that time had been the head, the chairman of the appropriation committee for a very long time, and then he made Nigerians understand that what we've had over the years has been just fraud upon fraud and corruption about what we call the national budget. That means, projects that were not in the original document have been imported, and then these monies have been increased all to satisfy selfish interests. And as usual, nothing comes out of these whistleblowing, or nothing comes out of all of this. Just like what we have today, Jibrin was suspended for a long time and then he returned. The presidency didn't even want to know what happened. And then you just find that a lot of things just happening back there to the detriment of the ordinary Nigerians. And recently we have issue with a senator representing from Bauchi State having issues with the correct Senate President about padding of the budget to the tune of almost 3 trillion naira. That's a huge amount of money. And in over the past few days, we've seen senators coming out to say, yes, we were allocated a certain amount of money. All of these monies are just meant to bring development to our communities and all of that. And they tell you, oh, the reason for the pardon, the reason why we had to increase certain amounts for certain ministries, for certain departments of government, is because we want to ensure there's adequate, development in our constituencies. We want to ensure rural development. And then we ask ourselves these very important questions. How developed are the constituencies? Now, this question is very important, considering that if we want to take the amount that have been padded in the budget from 1999 to date, you find that it's a lot of money. And you and I know the communities across the length and breadth of Nigeria are still very underdeveloped. In fact, 2 years ago, the Nigerian Bureau of Statistics came up with a mind-blowing statistics about the level of poverty in Nigeria. So if truly these amounts that have been added to the budget by the legislators over the years were actually meant for constituency and rural development, I don't think the level of poverty we have in Nigeria today will be what we're seeing today. Because if you go to rural areas, some rural areas do not even have water to drink. In some rural areas, there's no basic amenities, there's no health care, there are no roads, there are no things that will make life of these constituency members, pleasant or enjoyable. And yet they tell you the reason for the pattern of the budget is to develop their constituency. So it's simply just to enrich the legislators. Otherwise, how do you expect for the Senate president to have, saying over 28 billion or thereabout is being budgeted for street lights, where you have that means a street light will cost around 150 million naira for a particular street light. That is considering the level of inflation Nigeria is in at the moment, considering the level of poverty. That is simply mind-blowing. In other climes, the Senate president should be in jail at this time. And come to think of it, you shouldn't even expect something better to even come out from a National Assembly where even the Senate president, who is the number 3 man in the chain of hierarchy in Nigeria, has a corruption case. Yes, but of course, this is Nigeria, anything goes. Now we have a different twist to the issue of budget padding as it's currently unfolding in the Nigerian Senate. As usual, for everything that happens in Nigeria, there's always the ethnic and religious coloration being added to it. Now we have a very big division, between you have the groups like the Northern Senators Forum, Southern Senators Forum, and are bringing about issues of impeachment and thereabout. Now they forget the main cross of the matter, which is the budget padding. That is simply corruption. And you don't find the EFCC doing anything about this. This is simply corruption. Budget padding is corruption in plain language. So there's nothing like, there's no question about having senators or having a Senate president who is having such a huge, allegations hanging over his head and still, presiding over the hallowed chambers of the National Assembly. It simply tells you that Nigeria is failing, or it has failed, because how do you explain a budget from 25 trillion to 28 trillion, all to satisfy the interests of just 109 senators in the National Assembly? Now, it simply tells you the issue of national interest is totally not in existence. When they tell you, oh, we're doing all of this for national interest, it's simply for personal aggrandisement. There's no such thing as national interest as far as Nigerian senators are concerned, as far as the Nigerian budget is concerned. And how do we get out of all of these problems? First, I think there's a need to make the job of legislators a part-time thing, just like you have in some other clime. that will not only save the country the huge cost of running the National Assembly in terms of sitting allowances, salaries, and all of that, it will also save us this shame. It will also save the country the drama of budget padding every year, where senators pad the budget not because they want to improve the life of their constituents, but for their personal gains. So I think being a member of the National Assembly should just be a part-time thing. You just get paid when you come to the National Assembly. It will make that office less attractive, and trust me, the issues of budget padding will be a thing of the past. Now, tell us what you think about the ongoing issues relating to the budget padding. You can send us reach us on WhatsApp through the number appearing on your screen. You can follow us, leave a comment for us on YouTube. You can reach us on TikTok, on Instagram, as well as Facebook. Thank you.